Hey friends, welcome to the channel. I've got a couple of hours this morning, so I thought I'd just do a little stream. I've taken my Paladin over to Permafrost, hopefully. Where's the way in? I'm going in the secret way, obviously. I love the textures on the wall here. It's really good. Yeah, I've got a couple of hours this morning. My wife's gone to get her nails done, so I thought I would just do a little bit of a stream thing. Because I'd like to keep up the you have to excuse me, my health's not particularly good at the moment, so a bit of a brain fart. I like to keep up the progress of the characters. Paladin's now level 18. I should probably talk about my leveling route, really. So, because even now I get questions sometimes about P99. It's difficult to get started, don't know what to do and stuff. I went through the typical Kenos leveling route, really. I think I still need to run past some giants to get in, don't I? Yeah, I just did newbie area, then I went out into Kenos Hills. Then when I was able, I went into Blackburrow. I killed the mobs outside Blackburrow, the gnolls, and go in and kill the gnolls inside and collect gnoll fangs, and you can go and turn them in at the Warriors Guild in Kenos. Oh, look, there's someone killing some ice giants. That's a nice shot. I don't want to get aggroed. I don't want to aggro an ice giant. Oh, it's a shaman. Look, a shaman with a skeleton form. Level 57 shaman with is that is that the amulet of necro potence or something? It's unusual to see a level 57 with that kind of item, but I guess maybe it was. Oh, hello. I guess maybe it was their item, and they just yeah, just move it around. Is it? It's not. It's not a. Yeah, it's not a bind one, is it? A bind item. I've seen people selling them, so maybe they've just got an old account or something. Being a skeleton shaman, though, that's pretty decent. Oh, that's good. I wasn't sure if I was the right level. I'm sure I remember coming here on a barbarian shaman a couple of times, around level 16 or so. So I thought it would be manageable, like the entrance area. Not sure about runners though. That's going to be a problem. I've been wanting to train up my two-handed slashing, but where I've been hunting, there hasn't been much leeway for error, and because the two-handed slashing at the moment is much lower skill and it's a bit slower, when something runs and you keep missing, that's frustrating. If you're a new player tip here, when mobs get to blue, as you can see here, this one on the right says looks kind of dangerous. The other one on the left is blue, and it says looks quite risky, but might be worth a try. So the looks kind of dangerous blue is the higher level mob, just in case you didn't know. I'm sure you probably do. Okay. It's funny. I've seen a lot of talk on the forums. In case you weren't aware, I'm just suddenly become massively addicted to Everquest again. On P99 anyway, but quite calm or whatever. Doesn't matter really. Oh, we're not hitting this much. Come on now. Yeah, so when I haven't been playing, I've been reading. And I've been reading a lot of conversation about paladins and charisma. I think I might have put 5 into my charisma. No, I didn't put. I might have put 5 into it, so it's 90. But I've definitely got some charisma stuff around that I'll give to him because I've got quite a few. It's funny because you go on there and people go, oh, I've never increased my charisma and I never hardly get any crit resists and stuff. Maybe it's different from a level. Maybe it changes from a level point of view. But I've had about 50% lol crit resists, and one of them cost me a death. So. I love the zone permafrost. I mean, I'm a sucker for a winter biome. I love, as I was running through Everfrost Peaks there, I just had the wind howl blowing and it was so atmospheric. It's a great spot though. I think at this level I probably can't go very far in. I think it's interesting. There was interesting conversation. Well, someone left an interesting comment on my previous video about they started P99 and absolutely loved it, but it just got to a point where I guess they were playing peak times. I'm not sure if they were playing. I think P99 has been fairly quiet recently in general. I think maybe because of Calm. But they were saying that it got to a point where they just couldn't. It was so busy they couldn't find. They were struggling to find camps and stuff. And it kind of eventually they just kind of got put off, which I think is fair enough. That happens. And I was kind of thinking about one of the things that I often think about Everquest is we always talk about how amazing the game is. Obviously, are those better boots than what I've got? I think they are. I think I've just got some cloth sandals on at the moment. Oh, got some greens and some blues. I lost track of what I was saying. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about how amazing Everquest, classic Everquest was, but I think there were definitely some things that could have been improved. So I think I guess it was probably done on purpose. But going back, I think what I would like to see is like if they were going to change anything. 2 greens here. Hopefully we won't get any shenanigans. There we go. Sorry, I've lost track of myself. Yeah, so the way that mobs progress as you move away from the newbie area, like fighting in Kenos, for example, like it's fine in the newbie area, and in the Kenos Hills it's fine, and you've got Blackburrow. But beyond that, you've got like a whole zone in the West Karana, which is like criminally underutilized. That zone really. And yeah, I think going around creating more mob camps and stuff. So the progression, so like moving out from the newbie area, there was just more progression, more logical progression level wise, up to a certain point. I think these are quite. I think they sell for quite a bit, those ore things, but they're really heavy as well. I've got a weight reduction bag actually, which it's kind of in. There we go. Yeah, but just if there was more of a organic progression, some areas have it. Like I think Freeport's pretty good. Kenos, I just think the West Karana particularly could have been utilised a lot better. A lot more camps of mobs and stuff that as level progressed as you went through the zone. I think that would have been pretty good. Yeah, I mean, there's not much I'd go back and change, but definitely that. It's similar in dungeons as well. Like Kazakh Fall is a perfect example of that, where you pretty much right at the beginning of the zone, you've got mobs that are probably around the level that you would expect, that are maybe blue. You get to a point where they're blue to you, but then you've got a camp just through the door where you might get like a red mob or something. And I mean, that's a dungeon, so it's understandable. The expectation was that you would probably be going in a group. I think that's fine. But yeah, that's one of the few things I think I would look at. Not even a change particularly. I guess it's more just like a balance thing. These guys seem to be half asleep at the moment. They're not aggroing when I'm... Oh, hang on a minute. Where's he gone? What are you doing? Or maybe you can't path down the stairs. That could have been a disaster. This is a fantastic zone from an exploration point of view. And there's loads of great camps and stuff. It's only reacquainting yourself. I've been reacquainting myself with the forums recently, and it's funny how it's always the same. Mostly, it's always the same people that post on posts, particularly in the class forums. You got half a dozen people who I think are actually very good and informative, but it's clear that sometimes they like a bit of a troll and stuff. Oh look, awesome! Don't often see that kind of thing. Okay. Now I think we might start to see a slight increase in level here. Yeah, there's a yellow one with a blue one. There's a corner there, so oops. Okay. I was thinking maybe we can pull the yellow on its own, but we'll see how we go. Yeah, but then there's a guy on there. I can't remember what his name is. Death Silk something or other. I think he's an ogre shaman, plays some other classes as well, and he always seems to get the rough end of the stick. He does tend to go on, and quite often seems to think he's right about most things. But he gets trolled a bit by some people, which is quite funny. I'm going to pull this yellow guy, let him have his round of attacks. I'm going to pull him because he's yellow. If he runs. It's funny how he even with a fungi tunic, you kind of have to be careful at a certain point. It's like yesterday I was in Blackbarrow and I died because I looked around a corner and there were 4 goblins. One of them I think was the commander, and I thought, I've got a fungi tunic, whatever. Ran around there. I can tank all 4, no problems, and proceeded to get absolutely hammered. And even like a yellow mob here, getting a. I think there's different levels of twinking. Like I was watching yesterday. I was reading yesterday, and someone was saying, I think it was level 20, like so higher than me. Someone said at level 20 that a fungi and they were fighting a yellow-red mob and it killed them. And there are a few people on there saying if you've got a fungi character and you're dying at level 20 to a yellow or red mob or whatever, then you're doing something wrong. But I don't know about that. Maybe if you've got a fungi plus all of your other slots are full with stuff as well, and you've got like a crazy weapon and whatnot, maybe. But there's different levels of it, The fungi is amazing, obviously, don't get me wrong, but, it's not like it's not a panacea for everything. You've still got to be reasonably careful. I mean, this yellow's given me a right old bashing. He's hitting for 42 max. That's the highest I've been hit for so far. So he's probably yellow, so he could be 19, 20. I've started to get my defensive skills, so I got dodge, I got parry, picked up parry as well. Dodge and parry is still levelling up. Oh, there you go, nice rawhide tunic. I'm not sure it'd be interesting to pass that kind of stuff to see what it's like. I mean, my dodge is still going up, but I very rarely get a dodge. You dodge this skill, but I guess combining parry, dodge, and whatever yeah. It's interesting, kind of having not playing like classes that kind of bash things that much, and that's kind of one of their primary focuses before. It's interesting looking at skills going up that I've never really had before or worried about before, like dodge and parry and whatever. You don't really get those on a shaman particularly, so. Right. There's a blue. Oh, hello. That was nearly a disaster. Yeah, so here we go. This is a perfect example of a camp where you've kind of got blues. Oh no, 2 reds there. Okay. I think the prelate may be a cleric. Yeah. I seem to remember there being a line of sight thing there, where maybe they can't see you. So maybe I'll skip past that bit and just see what's around the corner. There was a blue. I can always leg it if things go disastrously wrong. Oh, hello. What we got? Got a blue and a blue. Okay. I'll tell you what you notice with when you're playing, like whenever you see like debates on the forums about frontal stun immunity on an ogre, about how it's just not all that. Some people think. The prelate's healing him through the bloody wall, isn't he? That's annoying. I wonder where these guys will path. Let's take the risk of pathing them. Yeah, I don't think I didn't want them heal. I didn't want the cleric healing them. That's for sure through the bloody wall. Oh, I've been rooted. The cleric is obviously like, whatever, mate. Oh dear, we could have a death here. Oh god, that's going to be a corpse recovery and a half. Come on, root, wear off. I think I'm going to have to. My lay on hands is not available. The root's not wearing off. Oh dear, I could try and heal myself, I suppose. Oh wow, there you go. You've got to be careful. I didn't think I'd aggro that cleric. I should have. Yeah, I mean he rooted me, so you know. But I probably should have. Run for the entrance. I probably could have kind of zoned and maybe zoned back in again, and the cleric may have. He may have. Yeah, he may have been behind the other one, so I could have re-aggroed them maybe. I thought my lay on hands was available, but I guess does the timer not go when you're offline? I guess it doesn't. No. Yesterday once I used it. I didn't mean to. Actually, I think I'm going to move it. I don't know why I've got fine on there. I'm going to move it because I clicked it when I went to taunt once yesterday, which was a bit annoying. was on green yesterday as well because like I want to, I want to have like a Shadow Knight project thing going on as well, and then probably work out kind of what one I enjoy playing the most and kind of go further with that one. But yeah, a friend of the channel kind of donated a fungi on green for me as well, so I've got one on there as well. So I was thinking of doing that on there, so we kind of got two different playing on two different servers. I think you can have both going at the same time as well. Actually, that would be quite fun. But my value on green, even though I've got a fungi, is a lot less than it is on blue. So I was just trying to see what I had. I've got a couple of hit point rings as well, so that's kind of all you need really. I mean, having no haste and a decent basic weapon is, but that, you know, you can get that, can't you? It's probably going to be dark for you. What I was going to do is look at, I thought I'd be in perma, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. I didn't expect to die. But there must be a filter I can put on to OBS that increases the, because I've got like calibration. So I'm not sure if anyone's aware if they're having a darkness problem. I'm assuming that you find it a problem. But if you go display color calibration, you can increase the gamma, which really helps the view in the game. But it doesn't help you on OBS though. It's just a general monitor thing. But I'm sure there must be a filter I can apply to OBS that increases the gamma. Or maybe there's an option for it or whatever. I'm trying to zone in. Nope. Literally can't see the zoning. There it is. I'm really interested also in all the conversations about you know, the logical conversations around classic MMOs and what they are and what the expectations are of players and all that kind of stuff. Might be some dark bits coming up. Okay. I don't have any light, and I don't have any. Holy smokes! I don't think any gamma changing here is going to help. So that's the way out, I think. So then you hope for a... Oh no, I've zoned back in again. I do apologise. Okay, so there was a torch just around the corner. I couldn't see the light for some reason. Hopefully it zones me in looking that way. No, it's the bloody... Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that maybe I'm just not the best person to be talking about classic MMOs and stuff. Even though most of the people that I interact with on the channel kind of feel a similar way. I don't think it has much of an impact really on... It's funny because I was just in there and I was keeping an army XP and like it's a high Zem zone. Obviously Everquest had those, classic MMO had those, so that's not a problem. I was getting like 2% per kill there for some of those greens. So, you know, I don't understand this massive... Wow, it's really dark on your screen. I do apologise. It's quite dark on my screen. Once we get to perma again, we'll be all right, hopefully. If I do that, you can see his name. That's about it. I might be too high level now for the vengeful lyricist, but I'll keep an eye out for him because, yeah, that's probably just a wise thing to do. I can't remember what level they are. I know there's a low level one. Is there a composer and a lyricist or something like that? I'm not quite sure what way around they are. It's interesting also kind of coming back to... I vaguely know the way to Perma from Blackburrow. I think we're going the right way. It's interesting also coming back to Everquest. I know that, you know, it's probably a fair comment to say that it's unfair to kind of compare, but coming back and playing P99 after playing Pantheon along with some other MMOs is that obviously maybe they've got smaller budgets and stuff, smaller teams, I don't know, but I think they feel so basic as well in every aspect of their design. And obviously, you know, some of them are, I mean, they're still in development, whatever, blah, 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 but even so, it feels right. Oh, there we go. So I think we're coming out into the plain section. Head northeast from here, but I do have I do have to be careful here because there are some between here and where I died. I can't see a lot, but there are some blue mobs that might aggro. So we'll have to. Just about saw that. So I know you can't see a thing. I'm sorry. We'll get back to where we were shortly. You got the snow orcs wandering around. A couple of them are blue, so I need to be careful. There's another one. We can go over here. I think it's only the orcs that are aggro. Maybe polar bear cub is threatening. Oh, the mammoth calf was threatening as well. That's interesting. There's some great locations out in this zone. I think this was another zone that was maybe underutilised. It's one of those zones where there aren't enough, I guess what you would call like traditional camps. There are a few like West Karana, but there's not a lot of what you call more traditional ones. It almost felt like from a population point of view, they started in Freeport and worked their way through the common lands, and by the time they got over here, I don't know, it just doesn't feel as populated. There are some great locations though, like going under the water here, and you've got the caves where the Miragul, the Necromancer bloke is, and you've got the polar bear for the shaman totemic quest and all that kind of stuff. You got like a giant frozen in the ground. I'm not sure it's supposed to be a statue or an actual frozen giant. I'm not sure, but you got that going on as well. Hey, yeah, it is indeed the human experience. I'm guesstimating. I mean, I used to know, but I'm guesstimating that. Where am I? Am I near the zone in? Not sure. No, I think I'll go past this bit. I'm estimating that spawn time is probably like between 20 and 25 minutes for those goblins at the entrance. So we might zone in and there's a goblin basically there, right there, if he's respawned. So we might have to try and do like a bit of a drag. I don't have a corpse. Let's create a corpse button, I think. Oh, we've only just gone past the second river tributary thing, so blimey, it's still pitch black. Hey, let there be light. It's still quite dark though, isn't it? I think one of the issues with the darkness on here is that the lighting seems messed up to me. It feels like the lighting's messed up. So when you carry a light stone or something, for example, it kind of works, but I guess this was a time where lighting in gaming in general, you know, obviously was less advanced, but the lighting still seems messed up in certain ways. So I think the darkness is kind of a double whammy. Right, okay. Oh, this is a long old tunnel. You smoke. She couldn't see past that bit. I don't want to aggro a giant. That shaman, I don't know if that shaman's still there. Shaman's still there. But, yeah, if he's not actually killed or fighting that one. Holy smoke, it's dark here. I hope I haven't turned myself around. No, I think the giant's just around the corner there. Okay, so I don't know... let's create a corpse key so I can drag my corpse. It might just be a case of... I think it's only that first one that we might get aggroed on, if we get aggroed at all. So... holy shit, it's dark. Little corpse there, that was a good marker for which way to go. Just want to zone in. There we go. Okay, we might get attacked as soon as we zone in, depending on what's spawned. Yep, okay. Let's target myself. Okay, I think we've got the essentials. Corpse recovery done. None of you namby-pamby standing around for half an hour going, can I get a res, please? That really annoys me, that does. Particularly at this level. I've seen people literally be a zone away from the zone they want to go, and they're asking for a port. Holy smokes. always think about how like the design. Hang about. Where are you going? I think about the design of the game a lot when I'm playing. Um, I love it when the wounds and when runes and letters and stuff start dropping. It kind of feels like you start to get into the big time then. Woohoo! Oh, that lightstone. Actually, I'll take that back. What a boon that lightstone is. Holy smokes. Hopefully you can see a bit more now. Well, I had a lightstone. I should keep one in the bank maybe as spare, but then if I die, it's on my corpse again. It's not spare, so... So I guess there's a slight... well, not slight problem, actually. There's a slight problem in that you've got that prelate there, so it kind of means that I don't have a huge amount of access to the zone. I guess it's just working my way at the front here to gain a level or two and then going from there, I suppose. I need to buy myself some arrows as well, just for pulling. What I should probably do is start, well, try and get the old two-handed slashing up a bit more. So, yeah, you hear that a lot actually. In fact, I've kind of heard monks say they, like yourself, they kind of gave up playing a monk because they were just expected to pull, which is, I guess they're good at it. So, you know, but yeah, a lot of people just said they just didn't want, it got to the point when they just didn't want the hassle of pulling. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before. Hope you don't mind the first person view. I do prefer it in a dungeon to a certain extent. I guess with a monk as well, you kind of haven't got all of the quality of life stuff, have you? That so if you know, as you get higher in levels, I guess naturally you find that you have less camps available. Although you could level to 60, obviously, you know, but the camps do become less and less as the higher up you get in level. Particularly if you're starting on like Qualm or something, where you up until recently you've only had vanilla. Yeah, and if you can't bind yourself and all that kind of stuff, it can get frustrating. Like corpse recoveries just take longer and whatnot. I think because P99 has been going for so long, and because we know so much about the game now, I think there are a lot of people who have been playing for a long time kind of have a skewed view of how the game is. Like I used to watch some enchanters who, like this was years ago, who like were really good at it, amazing at it, and used to solo some amazing stuff. But I came to conclude. Well, it got to a point where I was kind of noticing that although they were doing some amazing stuff, they didn't have. There wasn't really any danger because they had like a pocket cleric who was willing to just come and res them every time they died and stuff. So it took away like some of the element of jeopardy. And I think those kind of people have a bit of a skewed view of what the game is like, or kind of can be like, just starting as a new player and whatnot. Well, obviously, I'm not diminishing their abilities. You know, they were obviously very, very skilled, but it does take away some of the jeopardy when you know that a pocket cleric friend will just come and give you a 97% res or whatever it is. Yeah, but that's what a lot of well, some monks that I've spoken to in the past have said. They just the constant expectation for pulling just got a bit, you know. Sometimes you just want to smack things, don't you? You don't want to. Let's train some two-handed slash, shall we? Let's run him over here so he's got further to go. If he decides to run. I should get some more third person outside shots, really. I kind of sidetracked myself. I kind of remember sidetracking myself from way back. I was talking about ogres and frontal stun immunity. Yeah, playing a non-ogre, you realise that one of the most annoying things about not having frontal stun immunity is just keep getting stunned all the time. Like then, it's really annoying. A lot of people talk about it from a min-maxing point of view, but just from an everyday gameplay point of view, once you get to level 8 or 10 or whatever and mobs start bashing, I just find it quite annoying. You just keep getting stunned. It's only for a few seconds, but I do still find it annoying. Yeah, red still seems to be kicking around, amazingly. Get ready for the run. I might change weapons just so I can actually kill him quickly. I think I'll get root next level, the next level spells, which I think is at 22. Actually, because of proximity, maybe behind the wall there, they're probably not going to run actually, so that's quite handy. That was a little tip that I used to exploit, that I was exploiting in Blackburrow. Just pull the mob you want near another one that doesn't aggro you, and yeah, you're laughing. I do like getting to a point where you start, as I said, start picking up some of the words for spells and things. It kind of really feels like you've arrived. Okay, you gonna aggro from there? Yep. It's annoying that poxy red is a cleric. Like anything else other than a cleric, it probably would have been all right. Ah, that's got a skin, that that hat. That's good. Another amazing thing about Everquest, even classic here, how it was designed, is that every dungeon is kind of like its own playground. For you to work out. It's just astonishing. Like even something that feels fair, that you think was very simple, like the level design, is just absolutely astounding, really. I don't know if you want the desktop audio up a bit more. No, he shouldn't run, should he? I did have a high elf paladin, but I went for the gnome in the end. I went for the human in the end. Human just feels like the pure kind of knight class, I think. I think it seems to be where it fits the most. I'm kind of trying to decide on what race for the Shadow Knight to be. I do love ogres, but erudites look pretty amazing from a fashion quest point of view. Rawhide tunic. I was going to say, I put on Discord that although I'm a dirty twink, like when I was in Blackburrow, I took everything off and I just used some basic stuff that I picked up, and echoey sound there sounds like I was getting hit by more than one goblin, but I don't think it was. I took everything off and I used non-twink, just basic stuff to break that Null Commander camp. And I did die once, but I did manage it. So, you know, obviously you kill things a lot slower with a rusty weapon or whatever it is. But it's, you know, it's just, I just wanted to see if you can do it without all the twinky stuff, and it's definitely possible. Hang on, what's going on? There's some kind of... I'm not hitting it. Oh, okay, there was some kind of issue there where I wasn't hitting it standing over there. Okay, I have to remember that. That was a bug. Yeah, like basically years ago, one of the things that I desperately wanted was a Shadow Knight with their sword. But it was just kind of... it seemed like it was just something that was just unattainable. But now, like, my plan is to, like, maybe if I can, is to level up, get into the 50s, and like maybe before that, maybe like join a guild and maybe try and do some casual raiding. Yeah, maybe kind of work towards that kind of thing. I think people often, particularly, like, it's used as an excuse at the moment, I think, for some of the indie MMOs that are around. People talk about it's just about the journey and stuff, but it's not. Even for someone like me who enjoys all the immersion the most, you still got to have like goals to work towards. So if you haven't got any goals, then it becomes a bit stale, and I think that's kind of why I kind of got a bit fed up with playing P99 or Everquest in general, because I was thinking I'd like to do this, but the reality is probably not. But why not, you know? And you know, and you never know, you might get some, you know, I've had quite a lot of help over the years through the channel. Like a friend of the channel recently, I don't think I'm going to... A friend of the channel a little while ago helped get my Shaman Epic, which I never thought I'd get. I mean, unfortunately, for the final part of it, I wasn't actually there. You know, they actually did it for me. But I did all of the faction work and all that kind of stuff beforehand. And I did like a little video series of doing it and stuff. So, you know, it was all pretty cool. I guess we'll pull the yellow dude right back if we can. So that green resisted the spell there. It wasn't a crit resist. I can buff myself as well. I think it's more about our knowledge of the game, but but Paladins and Shadow Knights, actually, it turns out, are quite a bit more powerful than probably... I did it again. Than we probably thought they were. There's quite a lot of videos now on YouTube of Shadow Knights. Particularly, it seems to be doing quite a lot of stuff on their own solo. I mean, admittedly, a lot of them have got crazy gear, but, you know... You got to operate within your means, obviously. A Barbarian Warrior is also a class that's on my radar to try out. I'm not sure how far I'd go with that. I'm not sure I'd go. I'd like to get to the point where they get their Uber discipline and try that out. I always like the idea of playing a class in a fantasy game that didn't have any like innate magic, didn't cast spells, but they had like a. Oh wow, this guy's hammering me. But it had like a toolbox of. Like they had like their toolboxes in their bag, so they had loads of items and stuff that had clickies and procs and all that kind of stuff. Holy smoke! Ouch! Jeez, this guy's an absolute brute. He's yellow. He must be level 2 levels higher than I guess. I'll get near the exit just in case. Wow. Wow, that guy was an absolute monster. We'll try him again. Holy smokes. There you go, boys and girls, even with a fungi. I've got meditate as well. I only realised I had meditate a little while ago when it just ticked up. I was like, oh, I've got meditate. Shit, I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember camping the Shralock packs on green when it first opened. I think because of how P99 is now, you know, you've got 2 servers that are very, very... One's so mature it's older than me. Not quite. But it's... You can go a long way, like even as a new player starting on P99 now, you'll often get people buffing you, you know, you get some hand downs and all that kind of stuff. The thing is as well though, is that it's not difficult to, like once you get to a point where you start getting some gems dropping and some fine steel weapons and all that kind of stuff, just camp those areas, you know, and you can make yourself a fair bit of cash. Level 30, you said you got to level 30. I think you were kind of on the cusp. Once you got to 40 and in your 40s, I think you definitely find that you'll start seeing some more just general loot that's worth a fair bit dropping to increase your wealth. Although as a monk, you know, with your weight limit, that's a lot of starting as well could quite often just be down to being aware of the area that you're hunting in, or your starting city. So as an ogre, I play a lot of ogres. I did quite a lot of research on the quests there and stuff. And is that the yeah, that's him. Yeah, there's quite a lot of quests there that will get you going with some gold and stuff, pretty much straight from the off. Like turning quests, collect some of this stuff from a mob, so when you kill it, come and turn it in and get a weapon or something. You know, there's loads of those kind of quests. Just making yourself aware of them first. You don't even need to use the wiki. Just go around and hail everything. Then just talk to the NPCs. You know, you'll find stuff. So. Even here, I'm not sure if it's the same, but this ore is worth quite a lot. But it weighs a lot. So I guess you could come and farm it, but you'd need some weight reduction bags. Let's see if I can pull this guy just by being annoying. No, of course, that obviously it worked that time. Of course it did. I don't think I have a spell at the moment that pull. I've got Walled Undead. Let's try Walled Undead. See, well, that won't do any damage. Just see if it pulls him. No, it doesn't even work on him. Okay, we'll just face pull him then. Oh no, I lulled him, didn't I? Let's try again. got absolutely brutalised me last time. Let's see if we have any more luck this time. Hey Steve, going well? Yeah, really enjoying it. Yeah, really enjoying it. He's hitting me for max a lot. I'm not quite sure why that is. My EC should be. I know he's yellow, I guess, so maybe that's. Yeah, I can't. Even with a fungi and a decent weapon and haste, I can't kill this guy. I don't think. I need a proc maybe. Proc or two from the weapon. Maybe I'll try and lay on hands if it's a close fight. Just, you know, maybe just to get him out of the way. Just because I can. Oh yeah, Steve, absolutely would. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm not proud, Steve. Ouch. Okay, so because I got that proc in, I thought I'd waste a lay on hands, because I think that we can we probably just win now. If he runs, I don't think he'll run here. I think there's proximity. Thankfully not. Thankfully not. Oh, another proc. There we go. We're well on the way. Ooh. Oh, I got respawns. Way. Okay, he's blue. So let's get some two-handed slashing training in. It never used to be before Velius, particularly. I don't think, but I think knights are all about the piercing once they get high level. I'm not quite sure what the chances are of getting a Narandi's Lance, whatever it's called. Oh, I do like collecting weird things as well from around the world that drop or whatever. Like in a full swamp, you get these mushrooms on the floor that you pick up. It's pretty cool. This seems to be a good corner. Seems to be the corner where you've got nice proximity to another goblin, so they don't run. Yeah, I mostly find myself playing classic games in general quite a lot of the time. Like if there's I think the next big. I guess the next modern game I'll play will be Stalker 2. I mean, you know, I've got no idea how that's going to turn out, but Yeah, I love the Stalker game so much that I've got to give it a go. This guy's a high blue. He must be just a level lower than me, level or two lower maybe. There we go, so I can see how much damage I'm taking. This guy slowly wheedled me down. I mean, it is taking me much longer to kill because my two-handed slashing damage skill is not super high. I've been watching quite a lot of YouTube as well, like mostly old videos, P99 videos. As I say, I'm quite addicted to everything P99 at the moment. I've still got this old axe I've had for ages, Axe of Lost Souls. I'm not sure if it's any good. And people were saying like get a Reaver or something, but I don't know. It seems like a bit of an investment at the moment, really, for whatever. But then saying that though, I think the Reaver, I think you can use it on a warrior, Paladin and Shadow Knight, so I think it's worth the investment. What I'd also like to do, besides like joining a guild and maybe doing some raidy type stuff, is doing a lot of questing as well. Particularly like some of the armor quests. I'd enjoy doing those on the Shaman. Also like work up faction for some of the Velius stuff. Maybe get the entry level Velius stuff. That might be quite fun. Farm the gems and all that kind of thing, and some faction and whatnot. I think by that point I'd have to choose just one of the classes to do it with, though. Oh, actually, it's not like I've got anything else to do, I suppose. I like that. You let fall the mighty yelp. It's nice sometimes as well. I'm not sure if anyone else does it, but I've downloaded all the MIDI tracks, all the Everquest MIDI tracks, so it's quite nice to have those running sometimes as well when you're. Oh, we got a one-handed. Oh, a couple of couple of words. We got a one-handed slashing, two-handed slashing check there. Nice. Nice blues. That's what we want. Oh, a couple of skill checks on the on two-handed slashing. Come on. I'm not sure what my max is at level 18. For knights, is it 5 per level plus 5? Or is it just 5 per level? Either way, it's around 90, isn't it? Is the max, I guess. Oh, 95. Abjuration. That's a spell skill. Maybe it's 5 per level plus 5. Oh, thank you, mate. That's much appreciated. I will. I'll see if I can. Remove that pesky prelate. Although that is quite scary. Quite a scary thought. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. Can't beat a bit of pog. Right, where are we? This is our next one. This guy seems to get stuck in here. It's like another dimension. And when I was standing over here, I couldn't hit him. So, oh, hello. So, yeah. There was something funny going on there. Oh yeah, that would be useful to get rid of that. To get rid of those, maybe get rid of that cleric. I've seen quite a lot of. One of the only, it's not enough to say my own issue, it's not an issue really. One of the only things I've encountered so far while playing is, I was in the Warrens and in Blackburrow, kind of a bit of power leveling going on, which can be a bit frustrating sometimes. But I guess you get people power leveling their guildies or whatever, certain classes. Need a warrior? Right, okay, let's go. I think I kind of contributed to getting a cleric killed though the other day in Blackburrow. I think it was probably my fault. It's funny, like when someone put up about the leveling speed in Pantheon, and they said that they put in a pretty solid 8-hour session at level 14, and they gained 15% experience. Which, I mean, I know that I'm twinked, but it's not even remotely comparable leveling speed. And I don't quite know like why they're doing it. Like Embers Adrift have done it as well. I don't know I don't know what it is that they're trying to achieve. Yeah. I guess it may be they just don't have enough confidence in the content they've got. Maybe they think that's a problem. Oh, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I don't mind. It doesn't bother me, to be honest. Really, you know, it's what if you turn up in a zone and it's empty, then just like have at it. Really, the one in the Warrens was pretty good because they kind of left a little area that I was in, so that was pretty good. But sometimes you get people who don't. Oh, hello, this is a bad idea. Yeah, it's yeah. I don't. I kind of like both sides. I actually kind of like all ways of playing the game. Like twinking, not twinking, power leveling, not power leveling. I honestly don't. I don't. Some people get really kind of like, you know, they really twist themselves up over that. Uh, yeah, but some people do. Hi, Frank. I think I remember the name. Yeah, I don't know if I saw you, but I think I remember the name because I often do that when I'm in a zone just to see who's around. Yeah, I might have done. It's interesting. I love how the community builds up around a very old MMO. Like I'm not sure if it's an emulator thing or whatever, but so interesting. Obviously, I mean, I love the forums. Like even the people who you might consider trolls. You know, I just think it's like a cultural ecosystem all of its own, including all the characters that play. It's yeah, it's fantastic. I think that's a massive part of it. Yeah, I was saying earlier on, Steve, the Warriors always really interested me because I was really interested in it in like a high magic kind of high fantasy game, and you got a class that doesn't have any magic except through like its equipment, and it's always seemed quite interesting to have bags full of equipment that were kind of like your spells. Uh, so yeah, like a warrior is definitely on the menu to try out. A barbarian one, I think, though probably. I do like the XRs, and the regen's really nice. Maybe it'll be an XR. I don't know. XR or barbarian. Yeah, yeah. I always like the idea of that. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure if I'd go beyond 50 with it. I guess it depends how much I was enjoying it. Um, I don't think I'd probably be able to play enough to be a raiding warrior. Not peak times anyway, because I'm assuming it's still the same, and all the raids happen during the peak times, which is fair enough. Hey mate, how you doing? I think there's another mob here. Then we'll try and die to that prelate again, maybe. I think there's a yellow that spawns here. Yeah, I was like on the Shadow Knight, I was debating whether to go troll or not, because I just think that regen plus regen be pretty awesome, particularly when you feign death. Yeah, I'm trying out some different projects on P99, just some classes that I haven't played before. It's funny because I spent years, like when I could afford it, I spent years picking up the odd bits and pieces for like tanks and melee classes and stuff. But then they're just sat in my shaman's bank. I just never got round to it. And then I kind of drifted away from Everquest. Bloody cable. I'm not sure if it's true, but I saw the other. Yesterday I was reading the forums and someone said that P99 seems pretty quiet at the moment. I think a lot of people have gone to Qualm, but I think Qualm's just had a Kunark release, isn't it? So, yeah, I guess that's Sony. No idea, mate. What did Sony release? Where's this dude? Oh, this is a yellow dude. It took ages to kill him, didn't it? And I had to run once as well, so that's probably where he is. Oh, well, I think Sony. Well, I think the original Everquest studios were part of Sony for the vanilla release. So I think it was Everquest. Asheron's Call was Microsoft, I think, wasn't it originally? Well, they were the publisher anyway. I think I've got the box somewhere. Yeah, I think was it 911 Studios, Verint or whatever. I think they were originally part of Sony. I think Asheron's Call was Microsoft. I'm sure that they published it. Yeah, because it's funny because my install of Everquest on here for P99, yeah, the main root drive, the main root folder is Sony, so I guess it's from I've still got this this P99 folder I've got. This is one I've had from the start because with the P99 client 989 and Verint. That's it. Yeah, they were part of Sony at the time. Yeah, I take my folder. I've taken the folder across various computers because you can just copy the folder basically. I keep meaning to buy. A copy of the whatever the client is you need to install P99 from the discs. I can't remember what it's called. There's a version you need to buy. You can get them on eBay, but they're quite expensive. Where's this dude? Yeah, I've got a load of EverQuest stuff around. Some old box games. I bought a couple of flasks. Titanium, that's the one. I bought a couple of flasks a while ago. They're like really nice, like drinking flasks, like silver, metal, or whatever. Oh, this guy's even now. That's a bit easier. And one of them's got Spirit of Wolf on, and one of them's got Clarity on. I need to try and dig them out. They're in a box somewhere. That's pretty cool. I've got a couple of action figures as well, and I think let's do some more two-handed slashing training here. Yep, titanium. I need to buy that client. I'd just like to have it just to stick it on the shelf, probably. Much to... Oh, something didn't hit auto attack. That's not going to help. Much to my wife's despair. I've got a collector's edition of the vanilla World of Warcraft release. Like the big box thing, and it sells for quite a lot on eBay, and I keep thinking about putting it up because it just sits on the shelf. Like it's selling for like hundreds of pounds on eBay, and it's just sitting there. I just thought I just need to get rid of that, clear out some space. Times of Law doesn't ring a bell, that one, mate. The game I remember most that had Law in, was it Lands of Law? Was it Westwood Studios' attempt at doing a Dungeon Master clone? They were really good, those games. Yeah, my favourite games on the 64 were Paradroid. Was a game that I just spent God knows how long playing that game. Bruce Lee was one of the, like a platform game, like a fun platform game. It was one of the first games I remember getting. Bruce Lee. Loading game from tapes. I wonder how the kids would handle that nowadays. It was such an event getting a game back then. It's a shame that people can't experience that now. Or maybe it's just nostalgia and people would hate it. But like, as a kid, I'd get on a bus. I guess this was probably like the early 80s or something. Get on a bus and there was it wasn't even a computer game shop. There was a record shop. A short bus ride from where I lived, who sold computer games. And I think we've got spawns back around here now, so we might as well. I like that rotation there, where they start spawning again. That's pretty good. Yeah, get on the bus, go to the record shop. If I was lucky, well, I might have seen. I might have had an issue of Zap 64. Then I'd read a review of the game first. If Julian Rignall said it was a good game, it was a good game in my book. Whizball was another game I fondly remember. I think I played the Amiga version of that though. So many games. And I used to really love the Cinemaware games as well. I think it was Defender of the Crown. Was that Cinemaware? I think it was. I love that game. And you had a Three Stooges one on the Amiga, which was visually... It got to a point where the Cinemaware games became more visually amazing, but the playability kind of took a bit of a dive. But I remember they did like a World War One or World War Two based game that was fantastic. Yeah, Lands of Law was really good. Yeah, I've got Everquest. You've also got the role-playing game, tabletop role-playing game. I think I've got a couple of the books here for it. Yeah, see, I can't remember what the timeline was particularly, but I guess it was probably, when did the 64 come out? I can't remember when it first came out. But I was looking at a Commodore, probably a Commodore 16 or something, and then the 64 came along. Oh, the old two-handed slashing's getting up. That's good. all the people that I knew that had computers had Spectrums. But I had a Commodore 64 for some reason. I got it for Christmas. Yeah, I think it was a. I'm not sure. You had the +4. I'm not sure what the +4 was. Whether what that was. Yeah, well, see, like me, Amiga for me was just. I was lucky during the Amiga times because I was young. I was working in a computer shop on Tottenham Court Road that was the biggest distributors and retailers of the Amiga. And there was me and all the rest of the staff. We were all like really into the Amiga. You had a few guys who were into the Atari ST as well because they did like MIDI work and whatnot. But yeah, I was so lucky to be involved in that around the Amiga time. It literally was like the whole subculture of owning an Amiga, working in the shop. It was yeah, that was amazing. And the Amiga was like, how the hell Commodore fucked it up, I've got no idea. But like at Christmas time, we would have Amigas stacked behind the counter, you know, like 50 of them. And we'd have like down in the basement storage, you'd have like a couple of hundred. And there was a queue, at Christmas time, there was a queue of people to the door, and all they said was, "Can I have an Amiga, please? Can I have an Amiga, please?" It was amazing how they cocked it up. I've got no idea. They waited too long, really, to either innovate on the Amiga, or Commodore started to try and move into the PC market, but by then, even by then, the PC market was pretty saturated, and it just didn't work out. Like the Amiga 1200 was a fantastic machine, but it just never quite hit the spot for some reason. I think there was, like, we noticed because we had a PC section upstairs, and we noticed in the shop that people were slowly moving to the PC, and yeah, the Commodore didn't seem to have an answer to that, other than to try and get into the PC market. But yeah, it's a shame because the Amiga, like in the UK, there was such a thriving culture around the Amiga. It was so fantastic. Like in the shop, you get people bringing in their own demos that they'd made, and all that kind of stuff. Music video demos. Like we were always looking at. Yeah, you're probably right there, mate. We were always looking on the TV because there was some TV shows that were using Amigas for their video work, and then of course you had was it Babylon 5 that used an Amiga for all the 3D stuff? So yeah, it wasn't just about the gaming, although gaming was amazing. Like when I first played Dungeon Master, I was blown away by the immersion of that game. Yeah, but the Amiga was a special time for me. I guess like most people, I kind of eventually moved on to the PC as well. Probably would have been like mid-90s maybe. I mean, I can never afford one, but I loved the big desktop Amigas, like the 1500, as you said, the 2000. The 4000, that was 4000 amazing. We had one running in the shop. That was pretty awesome. Well, the PC was just so open ended. Like any hardware company could bring out a PC, and you know it was just so much more open ended, the system itself, and it was a lot more expandable, I guess. And when they started releasing like hardware acceleration, on the PC, then that was it pretty much. I was gone. Well, when the 3DFX came out, and I plonked that in the PC and fired up Tomb Raider and Quake, like seeing like hardware acceleration games for the first time. That was another moment. And then of course you had Doom. You know, that was it really. Yeah, that was it. Doom, game over. You played Doom? No. And the people would like turn around and start carrying on having a discussion without you. You haven't played Doom? I like the Enchanter pages. They're little torn pages. I like the little graphic. Oh, here we go. We've got a caster of some kind. Diviner. They're tricky to work out. Is that a wizard? It's not a magician. That bugger tried to dispel me. Yeah, I think my first PC was a 386 actually. Oops. What is that? And I kind of moved on to a 486 and then kind of got the Pentiums and hardware acceleration. The Amiga was pretty expandable though. I loved there was quite a lot of gadgets for it, different drives you could plug into it and all that kind of thing and whatnot. I remember the other really big seller that we had. So it was the Amiga and Citizen. I don't know if anyone remembers dot matrix printers, but Citizen dot matrix printers. We sold hundreds of those. I think because they were so well priced. And then with a PC, we got our first workbench, yeah. And with a PC, we got our first internet connection. We took over the phone line, trying to play Ultra Online on a dial-up. Holy smokes! There's an Amiga magazine actually that I've been buying, available. That's really I enjoy watching. I still really enjoy I used to enjoy collecting I still like reading paper magazines. There's something nice about it. And there's a new Amiga one. I can't remember what it's called. Amiga something. I've got it. I've got some copies somewhere. It's quite interesting. Yeah, because with the early Amigas, I think with the 1000, you actually had to load up the workbench first, didn't you? I think you had to install. I think you had to load workbench before you could load another program. Whereas the 500, I think the workbench came on a ROM. It's amazing how like forgettable the experience now is of buying games and systems, whereas back in the day it was much more of an event. I guess the world was smaller back then to a certain extent. Like I remember getting like I started to get into console imports because I had a bit of a thing for Japanese gaming culture and whatnot. Oh, this is a disaster. Yeah, and I got my first Mega Drive, Japanese Mega Drive, and I kind of got quite heavily into that as well. I used to love the Japanese artwork on the boxes. I was a stubborn and stupid Neo Geo AES owner. Now by that time there was a few people I knew who had consoles and stuff, and quite often we would kind of sell them around. And I stubbornly kept buying a Neo Geo AES because they were just fantastic. But I could never really afford the game, so I'd end up with a game, and then to get another game imported from Japan or wherever, or the UK versions are always more expensive. Yeah, but I remember, I think my favourite console, I mean, Super Famicom. The Super Famicom, I think, was probably my favourite, but I think the one that I got the most enjoyment out of, weirdly, was the PC Engine. Again, it just wasn't available in the UK at the time, and I guess it was a bit of a status symbol, those kind of things. But really, yeah, PC Engine was fantastic. I just loved the little cards that the games came on. Games were so hard to come by though. Like, I've so many weird game stories. Like, I went to London. Well, I lived in London, but I travelled into central London to Hamleys because I'd heard that Hamleys were going to get the toy shop. They didn't at the time. They didn't have a big. They didn't have a big game section. I don't know if they have now, but they didn't at the time. But they had a bit of a game section, and they were going to get. I don't know why Hamleys were importing PC Engine games, Japanese PC Engine games, but they were going to get some in apparently. And I remember being there, and they hadn't turned up. And I stayed in London all day until just before Hamleys closed, when the delivery finally turned up, just to get a PC Engine game. You know, not that you can't find loads of stuff to do in London for a day or even a decade. But yeah, it was a. I worked in London as well, so it wasn't really much of a mystery to me. But yeah. Yeah, but the whole thing around games now is pretty feels pretty. I don't know. It's not that same excitement, I guess. Of like, I used to get excited by buying the Edge magazine, because they had reporters in Japan, and when new consoles came out, they would send someone along to the release day and stuff, and the PlayStation and the Saturn came out quite a bit after in the UK it did in Japan. And I've still got the Edge magazines here of the Saturn and PlayStation release, where you got people queuing around Akihabara, picking up their PlayStation and whatnot. I think that was kind of probably where the joy started to go in that kind of thing. I think the PlayStation 2 probably had a similar big release, but after that I think things just became a bit more... I think as companies offered games online to download more and more, I think that... Well, they're saying that though. The last console that I pre-ordered was a PS3, actually, the original. And I went to my local game shop at the time and picked it up on release day. That was pretty exciting. Even though I was quite old then. When did the PS3 come out? I don't know. Let's have a look. The PS3 was released in the UK 2007. That's quite a while ago, actually. So I was 37. I was too excited going to pick up a PS3. I think that was it. That was pretty much where I gave up on consoles, I think. PS3 was the last one I pre-ordered. I think we might have had a Wii, because the the kids were young at the time and we played some golf and whatever. Wii Golf and Mario Party or whatever it was. So from an Everquest point of view, I think it's probably as far as we can go at the moment. That this little section here, but it's been nice XP. I think I've got I think I can get back in Pantheon again quite soon, but I'm not actually sure if I'm gonna bother to play season 3 really. If they were looking at like the leveling speeds and stuff, I might do, but I just don't want to invest time in games anymore that you kind of end up not really, you know. When you go on the P99 forums, there's quite a lot of they still seem to have like a tick over of new people coming in playing. Like you'll always get like a new player in the new player section. There still seems to be quite a lot of chat also about kind of merging the servers. I don't know if that's something that'll ever happen. But yeah, like they was going to merge green and blue at some point, weren't they? But I imagine it's a bit of a logistical nightmare trying to squeeze those two groups of players together. Yeah, it did. Yeah, they had two. They had one. One of them I didn't play because it was the wrong time, and then there's a second one that I caught about an hour of towards the end, but the lag was really bad. But hopefully they've got enough information to, yeah, to deal with that. I think I've kind of reached the point where I'm pretty much like suck it and see now with new MMOs that come out. I'm not getting myself too hyped at all for anything now. Comes out, give it a go. Let's see what happens. If you're going to keep repeating the same mistakes, well, I'll stay on P99. I mean, you know, as you know, if you're an old friend of the channel, I've whinged about this stuff a lot, I should say. Maybe not enough, but a lot. Yeah. I just think the people currently developing, or certainly the games that have been released, the kind of classically inspired indie MMOs, I don't think they understand the audience and what the audience wants. So we're just waiting. Someone comes along that does. Looks like it could be M&M. Depends. You gonna come down here? Yep. I think we can probably do, yeah. We'll try and get some more skill ups for two-handed slashing. I don't know if anyone knows of anyone, but I've been looking for like a new it's difficult, you know, like doing YouTube content now is just ridiculously stupid. Like the amount of times I come across like really well presented videos, whether you like the person's personality or not is irrelevant, like just well presented videos with like, you know, the thumbnail that you have to do to get clicks and stuff. And they've clearly put a lot of not Everquest necessarily, like any game, and they've clearly put a lot of effort into it, but you know, a week later they've got 10 views. You know, so like breaking into doing it is just ridiculous now, particularly if you want to do it in a way that's more of just doing it for fun. But I keep looking for like a new person who has joined P99, has never played before, and they're kind of doing a series of videos, a bit like I did. Like, well, I mean, I'd played live, but yeah, it's most of the newer EverQuest P99 videos I can find are just, you know, quite established players doing stuff, which I enjoy watching. But I'm going to pull this guy over here because they don't run over here. It was a shame that that level 1 kind of nuked his main EverQuest account on YouTube. Although every time I get a stupid comment from someone from on a video from 8 years ago, I quite often feel like doing that to to my channel as well. I don't know how anyone else feels about it, and like I talk about it a bit, but I guess it's like, oh, you know, I don't want to get involved. I'm kind of not saying anything, but I don't like the current content creation bubble around indie MMOs at all, really. They just like even, I mean, these guys are not. I mean, they're bigger than me, but not that much bigger. It's not like they're Asmongold, but they're kind of almost like marketing. It's almost like a marketing for any indie MMO that comes out. You know, they don't seem to have any opinion that's not. I don't mention any names, but I'm sure that you've seen them. People who are playing Pantheon or Embers Drift or whatever it is, but I don't know what's happened. I don't know. Well, it's, I mean, obviously a lot of it is to do with the fact that I guess if you have kind of like developer access and the developers do streams and all that kind of stuff, I guess it enhances your channel as a brand. And yeah, I guess that's why. I just feel that your audience would, surely your audience must realise that at some point. Are you being entirely upfront about this game that you, about another MMO that you appear to love? You know, it's like, I don't know. Oh, I got a hit for what level am I? I got a hit for 34. Wow. Yeah, but I suppose it's just not something people like to talk about. And I imagine, you know, me talking about it in a negative way is probably not seen as particularly not the best of etiquette, maybe. But yeah, it's a shame actually. Like there seems to be a group of content creators who just like every MMO that comes out at the moment, and they don't. There's no kind of pushback or anything. It's. I mean, don't be as moany as me, you know, maybe find some kind of like balance or something, but yeah. But I guess if you want to grow your channel and you want your channel to be more than just a channel, you know, then I don't know. I guess that's the. I do hate the flexing though in the classic MMO community. Like when I watch when I was playing Pantheon, Season 2 Pantheon, I was watching some streams, and there were some streamers who, quite frankly, didn't look old enough to have played EverQuest, going on about how many MMOs they'd played when they'd released all that kind of stuff. And then they kind of say things where they want the game to be even harder, you know, and whatnot, and it's just, whatever, mate. I don't think that's kind of helping the current issue either. I haven't seen it yet. I should probably watch it. I think Lazy Peon did a video a little while ago about the state of the MMO industry. I think he was talking about it, including like the, you know, all of them, like the, I guess what you call the AAA stuff as well. I think the problem with the indie games at the moment and the indie developers is indie developers look at a group of people like us who say we're I guess disenfranchised from what MMOs have become, and they think they've got the answer, and they tell you that they've got the answer, but the target audience, apparently us, are playing these games, and we're rejecting them like wholesale, really. Like when you look at completely lost track of what I was going to say there. When you look at how many people are playing these games, irrespective of the impression that some content creators try to give, or whatever, like there's hardly anyone actually. The only metric that really matters if you're an MMO player and you want to play an MMO as an MMO is how many people are logged on when I log on, and you know, it's hardly any. So like us as an audience are kind of rejecting these games. So then what? You know, it appears as though the developers are willing to stubbornly carry on, you know, developing the mechanics and the systems as they are. I guess maybe that means they're in quite a privileged position, in the sense that maybe they've had investment, so the amount of money they've got coming in, or the amount of subscribers they've got, is kind of not, is not a concern currently, but you would expect it to be a concern at some point. But then, but then you look at, I mean, I don't quite know how. I guess maybe a game like Pantheon, where Brad was involved, despite the fact that, you know, a bit like Richard Garriott, really, he's lost his MMO mojo, or he probably had, really, if we're honest. Certainly, he hadn't been involved in it for a while. I guess like Pantheon's probably had a lot of investment, but I'm amazed that Pantheon has financially been able to keep going. I guess maybe, you know, because of who was involved in it initially, maybe there were a lot of people that bought some of the big invested quite a lot at the start. Maybe there's people just still willing to invest money in it and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that how developers are interpreting the classic MMOs at the moment, and like I personally think they're way off the mark, and the rejection by the audience would suggest that they're way off the mark, irrespective of throwing words around like niche or whatever, you know. Most of them seem to not be functioning as MMOs. But they're willing to carry on in the development vein that they have been. I think the most disappointing thing about it is that there's almost no accountability. I'm sure we all remember Chris's legendary Shroud of the Avatar streams, where, you know, people would go on stream and wind him up, obviously, but like one comment from someone would send him off. and there was never any accountability on his part. It was always someone else's fault. It was always Unity's fault, or the player's fault, or content creator's fault, or website's fault, or whatever it may be. And that attitude has carried on. Like, I was on the Embers Adrift Discord a few weeks ago, and someone put up a link to a post on mmorpg.com that was, you know, fairly it's fairly negative, which is fair enough. I mean, you know, the game has refused to budge from its stance, which is up to them. It's fair enough again. But people are also, it's also fair for people to write what they want about it if that's how they feel. But sorry, I'll get to the point. But the point is that there was no accountability. So, like the core audience, and even one of the developers was like, "Well, this is why the game's not doing so well, because of all this negativity surrounding it." And I don't believe that. You know, I believe that if I release a product, it's not doing very well, then that's pretty much solely on me. That's not to say, obviously, that like a negative review or negativity around that product is not going to have an impact. But Embers Adrift is an MMO in a long line of MMOs that had a massive player base for the first week or so. Like when Embers Adrift first came out, I was playing it, and there was literally like a couple of thousand people logged in at once. And now you log in, and sometimes I log in, and when I logged in recently, it was single figures. So the game had the exposure, and the reason that the majority of people stop playing ultimately is because of the game, because many of these players would have tried the game before any negativity comes along and surrounds a game. I mean, Lazy Peon did a video on Embers Adrift. I think it had like 250,000 views, so they can't say that it hasn't had exposure. But there's just it's what I said before about Chris was shrouded the avatar. There was there was no accountability. It was everyone else's fault, and that was exactly the same attitude on Embers Adrift at the moment. It's not any of the decisions that we've made. It's the engine's fault, or it's a negative player's fault, or it's a whatever, you know. And I think that's a lot of the problem. I think it's difficult because we're all human beings, but until the developers take accountability for the work they're doing and accept that maybe the reason that the population of the game is so small is because of what they've done, instead of blaming someone else, I don't think that things will change. But anyway, it is what it is. Hey Massey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'll probably have to go soon because I've got a task to do this afternoon with the wife, which I'm not really in the fit state for, but we've just got to go and get it done. Now, where are you going? Are you going to go up or down? No, you're going to go this way. Oh. I'll be glad when I get root. Okay, let's pull you down let's pull you down the stairs. But yeah, I mean, maybe there's a valid point to be said that I've just reached that point where I'm just so pessimistic about the scene that, you know, and I would actually feel that myself if so many of you, you know, didn't seem to feel the same way. I mean, how many of you are currently playing Embers Adrift, Shadow the Avatar, Project Gorgon, whatever? You know, I imagine there's probably not many of you actually actively playing those games. So then I kind of feel that as a creator of that product, like, I would try and look at why are we not playing it? Yeah, and I guess we go for all the stuff where we don't want to admit it's us and it's not the game, you know, but I don't know. At some point, you got to take it on the chin. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's a minority. Maybe I'm in the minority, but when I look at the populations of these games, I'm not sure. It's weird because it's weird because even the players watching content from these games don't seem to be playing them. Although I guess it gets quite tribal, and as I guess my channel does to a certain extent, and people go and watch because they like the content creator. But if you go to one of these other kind of indie MMO content creators, they probably do a Shroud Avatar video or an Embers Drift video, and it's probably got a couple of thousand views. But that's not translating into people playing the game. So they're just going to watch the stream essentially. I guess they don't care what the game is particularly, maybe. I need to learn about damage caps because I've never played a tank or a melee. I don't know what the damage. I know there's damage caps that come off after. Like when I was investigating the warrior, some warrior equipment. Someone on the forum said use a fighting baton or something like that until level 30, then use a reaver, because apparently level 30 is a big damage cap thing. I'm not sure if that's just for a warrior though, or if that's for for the knights as well. Don't know. I think we've got one more spawn here, haven't we? Yellow or white dude. I guess everyone's done this, but I think I've spent quite a lot of time thinking about making my own MMO. Obviously, that's like whatever, Bob. But yeah, I think it's about getting started. I'd like to start building a world, even if visually it was. Oh, if visually it was like this, that'd be amazing. But like start to build a dungeon. But I've got no experience of using something like Unity or whatever, so I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what the best engine to use is even, or what the costs involved are, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I should look into it a bit more. I think there was a developer on Twitch. I can't remember what their name was, but I think they've been streaming game creation and doing like some courses and stuff. Maybe, yeah. Oh, okay. That's probably, yeah. I guess that's probably what they said. They said just use a good ratio of weapons to level 30, then use a reaver essentially. I guess that's why. With a warrior, they were saying at level 50 or whatever, get a what's the weapon that procs slow? Apparently that helps at 50 on warriors. Get a nice little slow. People talk about blood points at level 50 as well for a warrior for a bit of healing, but yeah, there seems to be a split on blood points, whether they're actually any good or not. Anyway, I think the wife's just come home, so I'm going to go now. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I'm hoping to do a lot more P99, so yeah, thanks for watching.